Hello there and welcome to my boat shed. My name is Panu and I am building this 15-meter or 50-foot liveaboard cruising sailboat from scratch here in Finland. In previous video we prepared this side of the boat ready to go with the planking, and in this video we're gonna put the first plank in, which is freaking amazing. And a couple of videos back we milled this material. This is approximately 90 millimeters by 28 millimeters stock of spruce, and this is gonna be the structure for the planking. And we have this bed and cove shape with that, which should help to align the planks and have a lot less epoxy when we are doing the kind of the shape for the boat. But there is still one more thing we need to do for these, and that is how we're gonna connect them together when they are obviously not long enough for the whole boat. Which brings us to this machine. So this is my thickness planer and a jointer, but this is actually a multi-machine. And on this side you can attach a circular saw, some kind of drill thing, but that is not what we're interested, but that is something we are looking for now. And on this side I have now attached a new table. So that is the planer side, and this is now additional piece for the machine. And here is the actual axle for the massive router. And here on the bottom is the height adjustment wheel. I have now adjusted that approximately where it should be. We'll see how that feels. And here is the belt for driving the axle. So it is attached to the motor, which is back there, and the belt that drives the actual planer is now detached, so it won't run that at the same time, which is possible with this machine. You can run this and the planer at the same time, which doesn't sound very wise, really. And yeah, I'm terrified, to be honest. This is super big and dangerous. It has a lot of force, and I would like to keep my fingers, arms and legs and head attached to my body, so I need to be careful. And one problem is that this wood material, it's a little bit too narrow for this gap, so yeah, we'll see. But the idea now, of course, is to make a finger joint with this blade to both of these ends, and one on this side and second one on that side, and they should fit together like that. And we might need to adjust this, of course, but we'll see. Should we give it a go? Yeah, let's do that and keep our fingers crossed but also safe. All right, I have my safety glasses, hearing protection and mask, just because. And the wire is attached, and yeah, let's try this. This might be a very bad idea. Okay. It works, but it's pretty hard to push through. I don't think that blade is very sharp. At least it feels like that. It does what it needs to do. Now I just need to figure out how I'm gonna be able to push it through, because you saw one occasion when it kind of grabbed a little bit, and that is what I'm really afraid of. So it grabs and it flies the piece out from there. So I need to figure out something.
Later.
All right, I made this sled for this thing, and let's try this now again. It should go like this. And now I can push the middle piece through the blade. Here we go. It's actually much more shallow than I expected. Now let's do another way around for the other piece and see if they fit together. If not, we need to adjust the height so that we get the match when we flip the board around. As you can see, it doesn't fit very well, so I need to adjust it somehow. All right. But now there's another issue. I don't know if you can see, but the blade has actually two blades stacked on top of each other. And this thickness of this wood is just barely more that the one blade can cut. That brings the fact that there is one kind of groove missing on the other side. So I probably need to adjust the blade so that the mid part is right around the middle, so that when there's a bigger gap forming, it stays in the middle, I think.
Moments later.
All right, now there is some sort of logic that I don't really understand yet. As you can see, it leaves a bigger kind of notch in there, but there's no bigger gap on either of these. So yeah, I need to figure this out. Maybe this belongs to the edge. Yeah, I need to think about this and try different options. But yeah, overall this works great. I made this sled as you saw, and yeah, it makes it easy and quite safe, I think. Now I just need to adjust it and find the way to make this happen. And one thing, these finger joints, as you can see, it's not really very deep either. So I was hoping it looks deeper when you look at the blade, but it's pretty shallow actually. And yeah, I'm not sure if this is enough. Well, there's plenty of gluing surface there, no doubt that, but yeah, I need to think about this a little bit.
More moments later.
After a little bit of fiddling, here is now one joint. And as you can see, it fits like that. And there was this one thing that I realized that is probably needs to go with this another blade underneath here. So here is the actual blade for making the finger joints, but there's now this another blade underneath that makes initial groove. And I actually cut it off from here just to try it. I'm not completely satisfied with the joint as it is. I believe this kind of joint is supposed to be glued together with a lot of force. So if I hit this with hammer, it goes much deeper and it's much kind of tighter fit. But for me to be able to hit these with hammer together is not really possible, maybe, I don't know. And also I would like this joint to be a little bit deeper. So what I'm gonna do next, oops, this is now pretty tight actually. Yeah, what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna go to the local blade shop that I have been using getting blades for the CNC machine. They also make all kinds of other sort of blades. And I think I might be able to get these kind of blades for this bit holder, which should fit in there. And I will ask what would it cost to make a finger joint blade, to make a little bit bigger fingers, a little bit more room between, and much deeper, of course. I would really like to avoid making a scarf joint because that is a lot of work. I would probably need to glue them together first, and that will take a lot of time. So this is just a few seconds really to do. So that is the whole point of this, of course. And if that doesn't work, I also can dig the pile of blades that I have for this machine and try to find similar blades like this, thin kind of narrow blades that I will stack together so that I can make some sort of do-it-yourself tongue and groove joint in there. But yeah, overall this machine works great. It was really scary to start it, but now that I got a little bit of a feel how it works, it feels okay. You just really need to keep your fingers out from there. That sled works great and you don't have to really go very near of the blade. We'll see how this goes, but I really want to get the planks going in very soon, so I need to figure this out very quickly.
Tomorrow.
All right, next day, trying second option. All right, it's not yet on the exact spot, but you get the idea. When I adjust it a little more, the joint should look something like this. So yeah, a little bit of adjustment needed. It reminds of a scarf joint a little bit, but should be much faster to do, obviously. All right, now I think this is the way to go. Here is a kind of a double half lap joint. I fiddled quite a while with several different blades, and this was the kind of the biggest gap I could get with them, about 4 centimeters. That's the double of the thickness of this material. Yeah, I think that's well and good enough. And now I can join these boards together, maybe add a screw during the glue up. So now it's nothing more, just get some boards from there and put it on this sled. And this works very well, and the key thing is that these are asymmetrical. So I can put this thing only in one orientation in here. So when I flip it over, it automatically creates the right joint. They are both done the same way, and when I flip this over, it becomes the right joint. So that's good, so I don't have to think which way I put boards in here. So yeah, that's good. Unfortunately though, I am now out of time. Tomorrow I'm gonna leave for a sailing trip to Baltic Sea, at least for a week. So this will have to wait until that, which is a bit of a bummer. I was hoping that I could get some boards done today, the first layer today, but yeah, that's not gonna happen, unfortunately. But we'll get back into this in a week or so, so it doesn't matter for you much of anything. It's summer, I want to enjoy the summer at least a little bit. So yeah, see you in a week. All right, it's now approximately a week later. I was on a sailing trip. We went from Helsinki to Kalmar in one session. It was 4 days and 400 and something nautical miles. And yeah, it was a very nice trip, although there was a couple of occasions when the wind picked up quite a bit and the sea state picked up as well, and I got severely seasick. And that brought quite a big dark cloud over my dream of sailing, because yeah, if you haven't experienced seasickness in severe way, you really can't imagine how bad that feels. It's like you just want to get out from there. And it has really been difficult to kind of climb up and get some motivation to do this, because yeah, I have doubt if I ever going to be able to sail this boat because of that, at least in real big seas and weather. So, but now I think there is nothing more, just try to continue. And where we left before I left to the trip was with this planking. In previous video I put this plank in here, just kind of a teaser. But what we need to do now is to prepare the first layer. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap there. I don't know if that's really kind of a big deal, but I still want to kind of make that bottom edge straight, cut the cove off from there, or is this the cove? But whatever, this edge off, so it is flush with the edge right there. And then I need to make the joints on the ends, and then I need to shape that front section a little bit. Let's go take a look at that a little. So this is the very front, the stem is in here, and the first layer of planks should come right in there. As you can see, there's this edge of plywood in here, and the plank should come against this, the first layers. 1, 2, maybe 2.5 layers approximately. But in order to me to get the first layer here, I need to make a notch in this first board from here to there, so that it kind of conforms in here. And then there's this angle in here, so I need to make a little bit of a cut in there as well. But yeah, not really a big deal. It looks all right. I might need to trim this a little bit. We'll see about that, because this kind of the shape from here to there, and that shape is not really aligning as perfectly as I would like it to be, but I think it's pretty well aligned with this. So yeah, there was a little bit of a CAD kind of problem in this area. This is really difficult area to kind of figure out in computer. The 3D model of the hull, it has a little bit of problems with this area, because the original model is of course the outer shell, outer layer of the hull, that is perfect. But when you do an offset from that, the geometry kind of breaks down in this area where there's a lot of curves. So I wasn't able to make a very accurate representation of that in here. But I tried to figure out this as best as I can. But let's now first start with the planks. Make this edge, this notch, and cut the cove. I think this is cove and this is bed. Which way it is? I don't know. All right, it's getting a little late, but now the first row of planks is kind of ready to go. I made the joint there in the front and on the middle here, so everything should be ready. And I actually now decided that I'm not gonna take this cove off from there because the corner in there, it might not be perfect. So I would anyway need to do kind of rounding there to allow this to go all the way in that corner. So I'm gonna leave it like this, just fill this with epoxy. It's not really that big of a gap there to fill. So I think that's all right. Just a couple of small things to do. I need to cover these temporary frames with some tape so epoxy don't stick to them. Then I need to, of course, clean this area with vacuum to get all the dust out. There's some dust still there. And the procedure, what I'm thinking right now, maybe it's different tomorrow when I do this, is to spread a good amount of epoxy in there to fill that bead gap. And then I'm gonna cover this backside of the plank with some unthickened epoxy to cover and protect these planks from the behind, because there's really no access in these first planks anymore. Kind of acting as this fiberglass was. And I'm not gonna do fiberglassing on the backside. I don't really think that's necessary. Just good cover of epoxy in here should do the trick. And then I have, I don't know if I showed you before, but I have sanded this edge in here all the way back there, and I'm gonna do fillet, small fillet on all of these joints in there to really attach this first plank in and to kind of make that corner as strong as possible, and of course feel the corner properly. So yeah, quite a lot of epoxy going tomorrow. I actually need to check out the temperature, because if I'm doing with this same epoxy, I only have the fast hardener, and if it's very warm, that can be a problem. And I really haven't yet tested properly this Sika epoxy and I might need to do that before I really go with the big amount. So yeah, a little bit of learning there, but I hope to get this first row glued tomorrow. We'll see about that, how that goes. But yeah, it should work quite well. I might need to add some kind of clamp in these joints because they might be on the kind of awkward positions. For example, here it isn't right on the frame, but 20 centimeters off. So there might be a little bit of a twist here. So I might have to use some kind of clamp on that side, and this side some plywood piece to kind of screw it through while it's curing. But covering with tape some plywood, I think it should be all right. All right, now I'm going home for rest for a bit, and tomorrow we'll try to glue the first plank in. I hope this goes well. I know there definitely is something to learn here. Something can go wrong or kind of be a little bit hard, but I don't know, maybe not. Pretty straightforward, I think. All right, it's now Monday. Yesterday was Sunday, and I just wanted to have one day off of everything and have a kind of a rest day. But that's good. It was certainly needed. But now it's Monday evening, and I'm actually having a live stream in just a moment. I have the small camera here and a setup here to have a live stream of installing the first plank. But as for this video, I'm just gonna now explain briefly what I'm gonna do. So first, as mentioned, I'm gonna tape off these temporary frame ends so that epoxy doesn't stick in them. Then I'm gonna vacuum before I start the live stream in just a moment. And then I'm gonna mix epoxy, of course. It's a nice cool day. It's 15 to 17 degrees, which should be all right. And I'm gonna start with the first plank here. Then just put a bead of epoxy in here. And then I'm gonna spread some unthickened epoxy for this plank here and then install it. Of course, having epoxy on all the surfaces, and here in the seam there should be thickened epoxy, of course, to kind of fill all the unevenness if there's any. And then just put it in like that and screw it in so it holds in there properly while the glue is curing. Then I'm gonna add a bead of epoxy on the back side to have a proper fillet over there. And that way all the surfaces on the inside should be finished in one go. And I really try to avoid putting any epoxy on this cove because the next plank will be here. So if there's any epoxy, I need to sand that clean. Maybe a bit of tape could be a good idea to protect it. Well, we'll see. I try to be careful. Anyway, after the epoxy has cured, I need to, of course, take those screws out. But there was now discussion with the boat designer, Mr. Tanton. He kind of had put permanent screws on those frame joints. And I really would like to not to do that. I would not like to have any metal fasteners there. So I'm still asking if I can use dowels or something similar. Otherwise, I need to get some stainless screws to put them in, or maybe bronze screws. Well, those are really not available that well. So, well, stainless screws might work, but I would like to avoid that. But for this glue up, I just want to have regular screws to hold it in place while the glue is curing. And yeah, then the joint, of course, thicken epoxy on the joint but I probably need to put some kind of a clamp, plywood clamp on both sides to hold the joint in while the glue is curing. So that's that. So the first plank obviously is a little bit trickier, bigger job, because there's this lower seam to be glued in all the way. But one plank at a time, I think it's going well. And you probably have seen from the live stream already how this went, and maybe it didn't go that well, but I'm gonna put some time lapse on for this video to show you how that goes. And if you're interested to see the process of making this plank and me explaining more stuff, you can go and check out the live stream. I think the link might be description or in the channel somewhere, or over there maybe. So yeah, wish me luck. First plank going in. A little bit nervous, excited, but yeah, the weather is good and it's not too hot, so I can use the fast hardener for the epoxy. Yeah. All right, it took a little bit longer than expected, and I might have been saying that before with something else with this project. But yeah, the first plank, the first row of plank is now in, and we had a live stream with that 4 hours or so live streaming. Thank you everybody being there. But yeah, now I'm just too exhausted to film you anything. We'll get back in tomorrow, see how this looks, and I will end this day's filming to this amazing summer evening. It's 11 o'clock and it's still so bright out here. Yeah. But we'll get back into this tomorrow. And just like that, it is now cured, and I'm a little bit more energized. So, how did it go? I think it went quite well. It looks very good, it feels very sturdy, and yeah, a little bit messier than I would hope it to be, but well, this can be cleaned up. And you have to remember, this is the first plank. It's a little bit kind of tricky to get on its place, and there's quite a big seam underneath there to glue in. So the next seams should be quite a lot easier and faster and less epoxy involved there. But let's take a look over there a little bit. Side note, someone has done a nest into this screw hole, and there is some things falling down from there. Oh well, too bad. He needs to go. So if we take a look at here, this is the front, and you can see there's a lot of epoxy squeeze out from there, and that is really kind of the problem with doing these kind of bigger gaps with epoxy. Even though you mix the epoxy very thick, it still is somewhat runny, and it does that over time. So this was completely fine when I left, but in a few hours it kind of drifted away, or what do you call? Well, anyway, I need to clean this up. Maybe feel that more a little bit. This feels actually pretty good, but there's a little bit of a gap where the epoxy has kind of come out too much. But yeah, it's just small gap, no big issue there. This is gonna be covered with other coatings afterwards, so not a big deal. But here you can see some of this epoxy remains. I need to clean this groove up, of course. Otherwise, this looks very good. What I was mostly worried was these joints, but as you can see, it looks pretty good. There's this packing piece. I'm gonna take that out, but that looks good and solid, and there's a squeeze out from the initial screw hole as well, which is a good sign, of course. So I think that looks good. And then the second one here looks actually even better. So those are good. And this as well. So there's only 3 seams over this whole length. That's all right. So I'm pretty pleased how this turned out, and now I'm waiting a couple of small details from Mr. Tanton, the designer of this whole thing. I want to make sure that the edge nailing is done right, because all these planks need to be nailed together with nails, and I'm probably going to use wooden dowels, thin dowels. It doesn't need much, but still. And then there's a little bit of a discussion actually of the width of these planks. This is now 90 millimeters width, but the last message he sent me was that there should be kind of a square, which means it's 28 by 28, which is less than 1/3 of this plank. So I'm not too keen to having to cut all of these half or even 3 parts. So I'm discussing that a little bit. I want to make sure I get the things done right. Then there's discussion also about the attaching to those frames. In the plans, he has now specified that there should be screws, but I wouldn't like to do any metal fastenings here, so I'm trying to get it done with wooden dowels instead. So small details, and those dowels and screws can be inserted later. It's not crucial for now, but the width of the planks and also the edge nailing thing detail, I want to make sure that everything goes right. So now I have time to prep the next layer going in, and most probably the next layer will involve more than 1 layer in one session. So 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 layers in one go. And also I want to finish the other side to accept the first planks over there as well. So I think I'm gonna maybe focus tonight over there without camera, because yeah, why not? Also, we have the keel timber still underway. I would like to go forward with that. No hurry with that, but still I want to get that done soon as well. So that way we can start prepping the rest of the boat to accept the planking, and first planking sessions or planking parties coming soon as well. So I think this mission was successful to put the first plank in. It's only going forward from here, and thank you so much for watching this, and special thanks for my patrons who support this whole project and this channel and making these videos. And thank you all of you who watched the live stream on Monday, which was a 4-hour stretch. It was fun, and you can go and watch it. It's just 4 hours, long lunch break or something. So yeah. And yeah, in the next video, I think we're gonna go forward with the planking. We'll see how much we can make in a couple of weeks. Maybe some other things here as well. On the side, I have already started to figure out the keels, the ballast keels. I also now have been contacting with the designer for the masts. That's gonna be exciting. Also, I've been thinking about the rudder and stuff. So all kinds of things are happening here on the side, which doesn't look like anything just yet, but yeah, I need to prepare things forward. But that said, thank you so much again, and we'll see you in a few weeks, and have a really nice summer. Bye bye.